So I was asked to speak about the four immeasurables, or the four Brahmaviharas, as well as bodhicitta. Yeah. So in the Pali tradition, the order with the Brahmaviharas is love, compassion, joy, equanimity. In the Sanskrit tradition, there's that same order too, but then they also changed the order, starting out with equanimity, okay? Because it's so important to have an equal attitude towards everybody, not play favorites. Yeah. What do you think in your life? Do you have certain people that you like more than others? Yeah. Certain people that you would help, while others, maybe you wouldn't wish them to be hit by a truck, but you wouldn't mind if they were. Yeah. Yeah, the attitude we're trying to develop in Buddhism is seeing that everybody wants happiness equally. Everybody wants to be free of dukkha. I translated it as dukkha. Well, no, dukkha is not a translation. It's the Pali and Sanskrit term, because suffering is not a very good translation. Okay? So everybody wants happiness. We may get happiness from different things, but the wish for happiness is in all of us. Yeah, the wish to be free of dukkha. Again, we may have different ailments and different things that bother us, but that wish is the same. Yeah. So not only are friends, enemies, and strangers equal in that regard, but we are equal to all sentient beings in that regard. And this smacks us against our self-centered attitude, which says, well, okay, maybe I can conceptually think of people, wanting happiness and freedom from misery equally. But, yeah, when it comes to doing anything, who comes first? Yeah, who comes first? Who do you take care of first? Yeah, this one. This one. Me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So somehow, yeah, everybody wants happiness, no suffering. But my happiness is the most important. My suffering hurts more than everybody else's suffering. Yeah. And this is what we hear growing up, isn't it? Yeah. If I don't take care of myself, who will take care of me? Yeah. People will trample on me. Well, yes, we have to take care of ourselves. Otherwise, we become a burden for others. But, or maybe I should say, and we're no more exceptional than anybody else in terms of wanting happiness and not wanting dukkha. Yeah. So that is really stretching things a lot, isn't it? Yeah. To open our heart in that way, that it's not just theoretically I have love for everybody. Theoretically, I have compassion for everybody. But I'm not important, most important. Yeah. So if I'm going to take care of myself, I should take care of everybody. If I should care about myself, I should care about the happiness of everybody. Make some sense? conceptually makes a lot of sense. What does it say? How about in here? Yeah, it's so nice to live in a conceptual world, isn't it? But boy, is it hard to really live it. It's hard, yeah, because there's always this thing of, I am chief, foremost of everybody. Yeah, my happiness is more important. Yeah, that's a big stretch. But I think it's an important one. Yeah, because when we look more closely at our own experience, that self-centered mind that makes us think me, I, my, mine, is most important, that mind actually doesn't protect us. It's a big deceiver. It says, but, oh yes, cherish yourself more than everybody else. I will protect you. I will save you. This is the self-centered mind talking to us. Our self-centered mind talking to us. I will protect you. I will always look out for you. But actually, when we look at our experience, that self-centered mind causes us so much pain. Okay? When you think of the things that you've said or done that you feel bad about saying or doing, anybody here have that? Yeah? Oh, just a few people. The rest of you must feel totally good about everything you've ever said to other people, everything you've ever done. No, we all have stuff that we don't feel good about. Okay? When you look at your motivation for doing those things, was there some of the self-centered thought? Mm-hmm. Some of you are nodding yes. Some of you look like you're not really sure. Yeah. Well, think about it some more, okay? Just my own personal experience is everything I've done that I regret, all my non-virtuous karma, yeah? There's always been the thought behind it of my happiness is the most important. My suffering is the most important. Yeah. And with that kind of motivation, with a little dash of attachment and a little sprinkle of anger and a lot of ignorance, then engage in non-virtues and then justify it, rationalize it. Yeah, do all those psychological things. Yeah, that how it was really good what I did. Yeah, I did it for somebody else's benefit. Yeah, I did it for their benefit so they wouldn't be mad at me. Whose benefit was I working for? Somebody else's or my own? I don't want people to be mad at me. I don't want people to think badly of me. I cherish my reputation. Okay. So when you at first when you hear this, you feel like, I'm getting accused of being selfish. Oh, why are you accusing me? I came to a Dharma talk to hear about light and love and bliss, and and you're telling me I'm selfish. Yeah. But the Buddha had to point out a lot of things to us that we didn't like to hear. Yeah, did you like to hear everything the Buddha said? Yeah. Buddha pointed out attachment as an affliction. Did you say, oh, yippee? That's wonderful. Attachment's an affliction. Where's my chocolate? Yeah. Anger's an affliction. No. Anger is an affliction. Yeah, I work for social justice. Anger is what tells me, what fuels me to work for equality in society. Yeah. Why do I go to the No Kings March? Because I'm angry. I don't like what this beep, beep, beep in the Oval Office is beep, beep, beeping. You know? Oh, yeah. And we think, yes, anger's my friend. I once did a talk, I think it was in Michigan at the university, to they had a department for conflict resolution. Yeah, so they thought I was a sweet little nun, and they asked me to give a talk. And I talked about, they wanted me to talk about anger, you know? And I told them about anger and how anger, starting with us, with our own anger, you know, is an affliction. And they got so mad at me. Because, you know, from their point of view, anger is good. Anger tells you something's wrong. Yeah. So why do you need, you know, NVC, nonviolent communication? Why do you need conflict resolution, mediation? Because anger tells us there's something wrong. And I said, I don't agree.
Switch mics. This one might have a little.
Oh, switch one? Yes. I'm not talking loud.
You're talking perfectly.
Oh, yeah. You better say nice things about me. I'm most important. Yes, more praise. Come on. So, yeah, at least Kanti will praise me. Yeah, Kanti started out at Sravasti Abbey, and then,
We've been shepherding.
yeah, we dispatched her to Seattle. Yeah.
Tanisabo sewed the robe.
Yeah, Atanisabo sewed the robe. Yeah. She's cute. We have lots of stuffed animals at the Abbey and a few human beings as well. So, yeah. But do we need to be angry? Does anger protect us? Or does anger lie behind a lot of our non-virtue? Does attachment protect us, or does attachment motivate a lot of our non-virtue? And so this whole thing of I'm most important, when we look at it, you know, it's a setup for non-virtue. And we all know through our teachers that non-virtue is the cause of suffering. It keeps us going round and around in cyclic existence. So it's quite interesting to look at this self-centered mind and see it as our enemy. Okay? So our enemies are not external. Yeah, believe it or not. You know, that guy in the Square office You know who I'm talking about. He's not an enemy. He is a suffering sentient being who wants to be happy and not have pain. Just like me, just like you. Yeah. How can I say I'm more important? Yeah. When I look at that self-centered mind, there's a whole lot of what I like to call rules of the universe. Yeah. Some of you may have rules of the universe. Of course, I'm talking about my rules of the universe. Yeah, not yours. They may sound alike. Okay, you want to hear my rules of the universe? They're the most important thing you can learn today. Yeah. Everything you should do so that I will be happy because my happiness is foremost. Okay, rules of the universe. First of all, everybody should like me. Do you have that rule of the universe? Yeah, one person's nodding yes. The rest of you, are you telling the truth? Yeah. Everybody should like me. Yeah. Nobody should, second rule of the universe. Everything I do is right. Everything I do is good. Yeah. Do you have that rule too? But you see, something's wrong with your rule. Because when you say, I do everything right, you think you're talking about yourself. But when you say, I'm saying, I think I do everything right, and you nod your head that you agree, then I do everything right. You should all listen to me. Yeah. It's very interesting when we look at the words I and you. Yeah, when we say I, we feel like there's a real I here. An inherently existent I. I am more important. Yeah. But then when you say it, when you say I am more important, it's you. I is this one, you is over there. So I am more important is here. You are, I care about you. I'm a good Buddhist, yeah. So, but it's interesting, when we say I only refers to one person. Why do we think that one person is more important than everybody else? Yeah. I mean, we believe in democracy, don't we? We don't want a king. Well, we say that when it talks to about somebody else being a king. But I can be a king. I can be a queen. Yes. Some of you may remember the show Queen for a Day. Yeah, somebody who lived with the dinosaurs, who's my age. Yeah, Queen for the Day. They may even give you a washing machine as a gift. Yes, because you were a valuable woman. Yeah, so if Queen for a Day, you get a washing machine. Okay, but what we label I, is we always assume it goes to this body, this mind. But actually, that's a matter of perspective, isn't it? Because other people say I too, and they aren't referring to me. They should, because I am most important. But when other people say I, they're referring to you. So who is I and who is you? Yeah? Is there a real I that's more important? Or is it just a matter of perspective that we think like that? Is it really you who your suffering doesn't hurt as much as mine? Is it really that you are separate? Because from your viewpoint, you're I and most important. So why do we think this one is more important? It's really not fair, is it? Yeah, we're Americans. We believe in fairness, justice. Is it just that I consider myself more important than everybody else? That if we had a vote of all sentient beings minus one, they're on one part of the ballot, the other one, me, is on the other part of the ballot, who are you going to vote for? Everybody but minus one or me? Well, it'd be nice to say everybody minus one, majority wins. All sentient beings minus one are more important than this one. Yeah. So we have to start out developing that kind of mind, a conceptual understanding of it. It takes a lot of practice to get it from up here into here. As with everything in the Dharma, we start out conceptually understanding it, but wow, really living it is another matter. And that's why they call it practice. We practice the Dharma. It takes time, it takes practice, it takes training. Okay? So, I was telling you my rules of the universe. Let's go back to that, because my rules of the universe are most important. Okay, so everybody has to like me. I do everything right. Okay. I have no faults. And if I make a mistake, you don't notice it. Because you're noticing my faults, that is an incorrect cognition. Even if there's maybe a tinge of truth to it, you still aren't supposed to notice my faults. Okay, what do you think? Do you have that rule of the universe? Yeah. How many of you are married? Oh, does your spouse notice your faults? Ooh. Do you notice your spouse's faults? Okay. Who's more important? Well, on the day you got married, they were more important. Yeah? So that was one day. Now we're on to the rest of our life. Okay. And that's why problems arise in marriages, isn't it? Because everybody says, I am more important. What I think, what I want. I want Chinese food. You want Mexican food. We always go to Mexican restaurants. Let's do it my way for once. And your spouse is saying, no, we always go to Chinese restaurants. Let's go to Mexican for once. Yeah. This is our world, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so I don't have any faults. And even if I make a mistake, you are not supposed to notice it. Yeah, I always get my way because I'm always right. One of my friends was telling me that she and her husband went to marriage counseling one time, and her husband was, going on and on about all of her faults. Kathleen is this, and she does this, and she does this, and she does this. And, and he was saying, I'm right, she's wrong, I'm right. And the therapist was smart. Therapist said to him, you can either be right or you could love her. Yeah? Do you want to have an awful marriage or do you want to have a good marriage? Yeah? If you're the one that's always right, yeah. Okay. But when we go to work, when you go to your workplace, aren't you always right? Yeah? Your boss doesn't understand? Yeah. I mean, in our monastery, you probably, you don't have any other younger disciples with you. Just you wait. At our monastery, yeah. The students, when you try and help them to learn something and see something where they can can improve, because you think that's why they came there. It's because they wanted to practice Dharma and improve. And they look at you and say, no. No, I'm not going to do that. No. You're misperceiving me. You're projecting on me. You talk all about how we project on people. Yeah, you're talking about yourself. They say to me, they don't know that I am always right. Yeah. Even when I have a little bit of compassion, try and tell them something for their own good. Yeah. But it's interesting, who is I and who is you? It really totally depends on perspective. So when we say, I am more important, why does I always stick to this body and mind? It's really not right. I should refer to all sentient beings. Because just the sentence, I want to be happy, is what everybody says. Yeah. There was one, we hear in the Jataka tales many stories of how the Buddha, when he was a bodhisattva, sacrificed things for the welfare of other living beings. Yeah. And it's nice tales about bunny rabbits and so on, being compassionate. But, living that is a work in progress. One example that I see of that, it would be the beginning of a Western version of the Jataka tales, was, you may remember some years ago in New York, on this, people were waiting on the subway, and somebody, I don't know what happened, fell off the platform and was on the tracks, the train tracks, right as a subway car was coming. And one man, a total stranger who was on the platform, jumped off, laid on top of the other guy on the rail, who was on the rails, pressing him down, pressing both of them down, and the train went right over both of them. And the guy who had fallen off was unharmed, and so was the guy who jumped off. Whoa, that's amazing, isn't it? When I think, would I do that? Would I jump off the subway platform and put my own life in danger to save somebody else's? Or would I stand there and go, oh, this is terrible. He's going to get hurt. You jump off and save him. Yeah. Oh, you passed the buck to him. Okay, yeah. But that's, that, I don't even know the name of the person who did that. Yeah, he got invited to the the State of the Union. This happened with Obama. He was invited to the State of the Union. That deserves some recognition, what he did. Okay, but in our life, we have to start small steps. Yeah, doing something with the attachment to self. And really opening our heart and seeing everybody wants happiness as intensely as I do. Everybody wants to be free of suffering as intensely as I do. And so another version of the four immeasurables, of the Brahma Viharas, is you put equanimity first. Okay, and it's not just equanimity between friend, enemy, and stranger. It's also equanimity between me and others. Yeah, and then on that basis, cultivating love for everybody, including ourselves, equally, cultivating compassion, joy for everybody, including ourselves and everybody else equally. Yeah, it's a different way of seeing the Brahma Viharas, but it's very potent. Yeah, and I know for my own practice, really looking at the self-centered mind and my rules of the universe. Yeah, if I can really see them, then I see that my rules of the universe cause me and others a lot of pain. Yeah, how about your rules of the universe? Oh, one lady who's about my age is nodding yes. All you young'uns are sitting there like, what's this old lady sitting in the front of the room talking about? I am more important. But just think about it. Yeah, think about it. Okay. Oh, I have 7 more minutes before Q&A. So, with this thought, I'll continue on. With this thought that self and others are equal, yeah, then living our life trying to do what is beneficial for everybody concerned. Yeah. And even when we do our Dharma practice, to do it for the benefit of everybody else. Yeah. Because we live in a world filled with other sentient beings. Yeah. And we're not really king or queen, yeah, of them all. And so even when we do our Dharma practice, yeah, everything we do in our life, to have that idea of, I'm doing it for the benefit of all beings. Because that will really help us in our practice. And then we will actually become more loving become more compassionate and work for the benefit of others. Yeah. When you see your teachers, are they compassionate people? Oh, that same lady is nodding yes. The rest of, and one other lady nods yes. The other of you, well, now you know the truth. Yeah. But really, try and adjust our perspective to taking everybody into consideration. Okay, so we do this. We start out just on our own personal life. Start out with your family and deciding what restaurant you're going to. Yeah. The danger in this is you'll say to your spouse, oh yeah, okay, yeah, it's fine, yeah, we'll go get Mexican food. It's what you want, yeah, it's fine. No, it has to be, oh, that makes somebody else happy. When somebody else is happy, then I'm happy. Yeah. When you go to the No Kings March, how many of you went to No Kings? Oh, this side of the room is, active. This side of the room, I don't know. Yeah, you all sit there, no kings? Yeah, they should march for me. Yeah, I'm king. I'm queen. Yeah, you get your washing machine. Yeah, but to really think, I mean, imagine how different this country would be if we cherished everybody equally to how we cherish ourselves. Yeah. How many of you work for ICE or the border control? Oh, what's wrong with you? Aren't you working for the benefit of the country? Getting all these aliens out? Okay. I mean, why do we go for the to a march? Because we care about all living beings. Yeah? We want to live in a society where people are treated respectfully, where there actually is equal opportunity. Yeah. In samsara, that's going to be hard, but who cares? We work for it anyway. Okay. So what I'm getting at is, what we learn in the Dharma applies to ourselves and our own the people around us that we encounter every day. But if you look, the Dharma also applies to groups of people, to countries. Yeah. America first. What about if we really cherished other countries? Yeah. What about if the U.S. aid program were reinstated? Yeah. So that countries who needed more aid, who needed medicine, who needed food would receive it. Okay. Now, some of you are probably thinking, why is she talking about politics? You shouldn't talk about politics. You don't know who's in the audience. They're going to throw me to the floor and handcuff me and drag me out here. Yeah. I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about ethical conduct. I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about human values of love and compassion and respect. Okay? Dharma, isn't just about me and the people near me. Yeah? It pertains to everything in our life. Yeah? When we talk about ethical conduct, sila, it's not just for people who have a nice hairdo and funny clothes. Yeah? Yeah, your hair looks really good today, I tell you. Yeah. Yeah, how does mine look?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, yes.
Millimeter.
Yes, I did it especially because I was coming here. I wanted to look good. Yeah, my makeup's okay? Oh, you don't like my makeup? Yeah, but you know, Dharma applies not just to me, it applies to everything in our use. Ethical conduct, you know, isn't an elementary practice for people, you know, with our hairdo and funny clothes. Ethical conduct is the root to being happy. Yeah. Ethical conduct helps us overcome this self-centered mind that is our enemy. Yeah. My teacher, Zopa Rinpoche, was quite emphatic about that. You know, your self-centered mind is your enemy. Yeah? So when you're miserable, instead of pointing the finger at the other person, like we usually do, because it's everybody else's fault that we're unhappy. But he said, point the finger at your self-centered mind. It's an incredible technique, but when we point the finger at the self-centered mind, we don't point here, okay? Because that we already do that. We already blame ourselves. We're not talking about blaming ourselves. We're not talking about feeling guilty. We're talking about seeing that our self-centered mind is not an inherent part of who we are. Yeah, it's something extra and added on that is not in the basic nature of the mind. It can be eliminated. Yeah, so when we practice this way, we put our self-centered mind outside. You can decorate it and make it look like some kind of figure, you know, whatever you think is really like, blech, you know. You put it outside, and when you're unhappy, you point to your self-centered mind and say, it's your problem. I'm not going to be unhappy. Self-centered mind, you're the cause of this problem. I am giving my unhappiness to you. You can be unhappy because you created the cause. And then your mind is relaxed again. What do you think of that way of thinking? Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Yeah. My teacher taught it. I said, okay. Yeah, but I'm still more important. So I'll tell you one story about that. In the summer of, when was it? Long time ago. I think it was 87, the summer of 87. I had the fortune to be able to go to Tibet. And I encountered the attendant of one of my teachers there, and my teacher had died already, but he took me to my teacher's family, yeah, and we were staying there, and then we wanted to go to this lake called Lamo Latso. It's a very famous lake in Tibet where when they want to find the incarnation of the Dalai Lama, they send a group of monks out there who look in the lake and they can see special signs that give them an indication of where the next Dalai Lama was born. Yeah. So we wanted to see that lake. It's down in a valley, and you're up on. It kind of looks like a volcano, but don't know. I mean, in the sense that you're up on top looking way down at this lake. Anyway, to get from the house to the lake, it was a few days' journey. And we went on horseback, okay? And so, because that's, you know, a good means of transportation in Tibet in the 1980s. So there were a few of us in this group, and they gave me a very nice, sweet horse. Okay, I called her Nellie Bell. And she was very sweet. Well, there was one Western monk who was in our group, and then the rest Tibetans, I think. And his horse was not so cooperative. His horse would, when we had to cross streams, would stop in the middle of the stream. And he's sitting there, you know, kicking it and trying to get the horse to go the rest of the way. So he crossed a few streams like that. Anyway, we got to one stream, and his horse, you know, would not budge. Or no, it was before we got to that stream. And his horse, again, you know, was giving problems. And I said to him, I have a really sweet horse. Let's change horses. Yeah. And Nellie Bell, you know, can escort you across the streams. Well, he was a monk. And you know men. No, you know, I'm riding this horse, you know. It's okay, you know. You're a woman, you have the sweet horse. Anyway, he refused my offer, and I really sincerely meant it, because this was somebody I had worked with before at a Dharma center, and we did not get along always, you know, because he really arrogant guy, you know, and we worked together. It was always his fault that I was miserable. So I was really trying on this trip to be kind and to see his good qualities, because he has many good qualities. So that's why I offered him the horse, to change horses. He refused. And he not only refused, he proceeded to tell me everything he didn't like about me, because I told you we didn't get along before when we worked together. So then he goes, no, and you did this, and you did this, and you did this. And so even told me, you know, that you did that. And this other person told me that you did this. And you're so cooperative, and nobody in the organization likes you. Nah. He gave it to me, you know, after sweet, innocent me offered him my horse. He replied with just this barrage of bleh. So, for some reason, maybe because we were on a spiritual pilgrimage to this lake, I thought, because usually I do not like being criticized. Yeah. I do not like being criticized, because I already told you I'm never wrong, and I don't have any faults. And here he is taking out this whole, you know, he must have been keeping, you know, tabs on this for a long time, because it all came out. And my first thing was, he's criticizing me. And then I thought, no, that's my self-centered mind that doesn't like to be criticized. And it's my self-centered mind that maybe I have to actually acknowledge that I did some of those things that he was criticizing. Yeah. So it's my self-centered mind that is the cause of my problem here. And so, you know, I just practiced the whole rest of the way, you know, as his horse continued to get stuck in the middle of the stream and my horse went across, to think, you know, my unhappiness at being the brunt of his rampage, verbal rampage, I'm giving this pain to my self-centered thought. Yeah, it was the first time I ever really did this meditation, you know. Pain, self-centered thought, you take it, you take it, you take it. Yeah, and the self-centered thought was my decoration. I told you could make a self-centered thought the way you, was this sweet little innocent girl with a lace collar, you know, kind of like Ruth Bader used to wear, you know, that lace collar. Except my sweet little girl did not have her qualities. It was like, be nice to me, yeah, please. And, you know, that was about how I pictured my self-centered thought. And I just said, okay, you can have all this suffering. Yeah, he's criticizing you. He's not criticizing me. And by the time we got to where we were going the next day and set up camp, or that evening, my mind was peaceful. It was amazing, because usually, if that had happened, I would be so angry, you know, that you could see the fire coming out of my ears. I would be so angry. And that evening, because I practiced like that, my mind was peaceful. Give the pain to the self-centered thought. Let your own mind be happy. Okay. So, so that was a vivid experience for me. I don't know how many times I've done that technique since then, because I'm always right. But, you know, that ability to say, it's the fault of my self-centeredness. Yeah. When we are kind to people, when our compassion comes out, I'm over time now, sorry. No, actually, I'm not sorry. That was a lie, I confess. I'm not sorry. Okay. Where was my train of thought? I got lost there. What was I just saying? Something about self-centered. Oh, yes, His Holiness. Yeah. When we are compassionate to others, sometimes, wouldn't it be nice if they said thank you? Yeah. I mean, everything we did for them, how we sacrificed, we worked overtime so that you could go home to your family. Yeah, whatever it was. And people don't always say thank you when we're kind to them. What's wrong with you? I did something nice for you. You should repay my kindness, at least a thank you. A gift would be better, but at least a thank you. Yeah. And His Holiness Dalai Lama says, when we are compassionate, then the act of being compassionate is the reward. You don't need a thank you. The act of doing something for someone else and how good that feels, that is all we really need. We don't need a thank you card. We don't need a birthday present. We don't need a bouquet of flowers. Yeah. That compassion itself is its own reward. Whoa. That's another one to practice, isn't it? You know? Similar with love, when we, not only when we alleviate somebody's kindness, but when we give them gifts and so on. Yeah, the giving is the reward. Yeah? For you, is the giving the reward, or you want something back? I mean, at least a thank you. Yeah, at least somebody, holding what you gave them, that ugly thing that somebody gave you that you didn't want, that now you're giving somebody else because it's their birthday, because you want to get rid of it. At least they could do is say thank you. But just, making what we do in our life its own reward. If we do it with a good motivation. Okay. Now it's question and answer time. Okay, I'm ready. What are you gonna ask me?
Sadhu, 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 anumodami. We have time for questions.
Are you sure you rejoice? Are you sure it was good? Okay, questions. Yeah.
Okay.
Joseph visiting here from Toronto.
Thank you, Venerable. I had a specific question regarding compassion, cultivating compassion. So I'm noticing in personal practice I'm trying to find the right words to describe it. So I'd have to use a story as an example. So there's a story in the suttas of the Buddha is touring a monastery, and he comes across a sick monk who's been left on his own, and he's defecating and he's covered in his own filth. And he asks, why has this monk been left alone like that? And the monks say that, he does nothing for us, so we do nothing for him. And so I'm noticing it as an individual, there's a lot of anger or a feeling of rage at even the whiff of indifference or apathy or a lack of empathy. And if it doesn't feels, then it's just adding suffering onto suffering. So I guess the question is, how do we cultivate compassion for those who are indifferent or lack empathy? How do we have care for that and not add suffering onto suffering?
Yeah. Okay. It's the same thing. Get in touch with how much you want to be happy and how much you don't want to suffer. Get in touch with that. I mean, that is kind of running our whole life. And then think, that person is exactly the same. From their perspective, the intensity that I feel about my happiness and my suffering, that's what they feel. We're exactly alike. Why should I just eliminate my suffering? Eliminate theirs too. In other words, suffering is suffering. It doesn't matter whose it is. It's something to be eliminated. Yeah. And if we can do something, we do something. Sometimes we can't, but at least we can cultivate compassion and make prayers, aspirations for their benefit. Something to keep our heart open and connected. Okay. Other questions?
People can raise their hand or on Zoom. Cheryl?
I have a question.
You got my attention with anger being an affliction. And I've lived with anger, pretty strong anger my whole life. I kind of blame it on PTSD, but it comes...
Can you talk like this?
Okay.
I have a hearing thing.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yeah, talk
Okay.
right into it.
Right into it.
Yeah,
The
pretend there's
speakers are making
chocolate
these
on it.
noises.
And it's that close to you.
Okay, so can you talk about anger as a mind state and how to work with anger? I mean, I see it, and I see after I have an episode of really intense anger, I was like, man, that was so unnecessary, but yet there it was. So thank you. I just want to.
Yeah. Oh, so what was the question?
Well, the question is mind state of anger. How do we reconcile the mind state of anger with the affliction of anger? Maybe that's the question.
Oh, the affliction of anger, when it's manifest, is a mental state of anger. Yeah? It's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Okay.
anger looks like it's going to be our friend and protect us, but it isn't.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Over and over again, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
You did. Thank you.
Okay. Good.
In the back over there.
First, thank you for the talk. Really enjoyed it. I would say, like, as part of Dharma practice, we talk about cherishing and wishing for the happiness, not just of our families, but of all sentient beings. But what if we haven't been able to do that for ourselves? There's a saying, put on your air mask or breathing masks before you help others. And if you're shown in the state of you don't really cherish yourself, what do you propose this person does in Dharma practice?
Okay, so you're saying we don't really feel like helping somebody, but we want to be a good Buddhist, so we put on a nice face and fake it till we make it? Yeah. Okay. So there's a couple of things there. One is when we notice that the self-centered thought or the anger, whatever it is manifest at that time, stop, pause, and change our motivation. Yeah. So that's one way, just change our motivation. Know that person wants to be happy as much as I do. Yes, their happiness is important. At least get it to the level where you can say that to yourself instead of calling that person names. Change the motivation as best as you can. Yeah. If and then do something, You may not have a totally, perfectly compassionate motivation, but it hurts the self-centered thought to make it move to do something nice when it feels like it doesn't want to. So hurting the self-centered thought is good. So it's not a thing of, oh, I'm doing it because I feel guilty and I don't really want to, but I don't want that everybody to think bad of me. It's like, okay, yeah, that person's important. I do care about them. There's still some caring more about myself, but my value is that other people are as important as I am. So my self-centered thought doesn't like it. That's good. I get to do something against my self-centered thought, which is my real enemy. And so you do something kind for that person. Yeah?
Maybe one more question.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
There's someone on Zoom.
Okay, the person on
There's
Zoom.
somebody over here.
Oh. Actually, would you want to go live or the person on Zoom? Venerable?
As long as I can hear it.
Okay, let's try the person on Zoom.
Okay, you may have to repeat it.
Okay, person on Zoom.
Okay.
Oh,
Hi, my name's Julie. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, hi. Thank you so much for your talk today. I'm wondering if you can help me shift my perspective and how I would apply this self-centered mind to a recent situation. And it's hard to be vulnerable and give my honest feelings about this situation that's so minor in the grand scheme of things. I was at the store recently and somebody called me when I was at the store for a different thing. And she said, "Oh, you're at that store. I was just at that store and they were out of this thing that I needed. Will you check to see if it's back in?" And I said, "Absolutely, no problem." And she said, "If it's there, can you pick it up for me?" It was there, and I did. And she said, "Thank you." But she didn't pay me for it.
She didn't pay you back. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine that?
That's it.
That's exactly what I do.
The rules of the
Yeah.
universe.
This is
And all the-
terrible. Yeah. You were so kind.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yes.
she just took it and enjoyed it without paying you back. Oh, my heart goes out with compassion to you. Yeah. Yeah. This is exactly when my own self-centered mind does this. This is exactly how I talk to it. I make fun of it.
Oh, that's so good. and then the mind can relax. I love you just shifted it for me. Make fun of it, make light of it, rather than if I don't say anything, I'm a doormat. If I say something, I'm petty and shallow because it's only money.
Yeah.
But instead, just be silly with it.
Make fun of your own self-centeredness. Yeah.
Thank you.
Just do it over the top, like I
So
just
good.
did for you. Oh, you poor baby, you paid for somebody else's thing, and they just took it as if you were a doormat and didn't pay you back. Oh, this is terrible.
Advantage of me.
And, if you do that, it really works, Yeah. Because you
Thank
have
you.
to, the way our mind works sometimes is actually hilarious. We have to learn to laugh at ourselves. Yeah.
Thank
Sometimes
you.
people are so serious.
I do that.
Yeah.
Everything is so serious.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys so serious. The first time, should I tell them what you asked me? Oh, no, I won't do that. Yeah. Yeah, so serious. Yeah. Yeah, oh, poor baby.
You too?
Okay.
I said so
but
serious. Thank you.
really make fun of yourself. It's a wonderful antidote. Yeah. And I think in our Dharma practice, we need to learn to laugh more. Yeah. Because our mind is funny. Isn't it? When you look at what you think sometimes, isn't it hilarious? I have 2 minutes. I'll tell you a story of what I did. Yeah, I have to finish on time because, they need, yeah. No, yeah. Oh, you want to blame yourself? Great. They have to eat. Yeah, yeah. The women, yeah, you have to eat too. Yeah. But you're on my side, so Yeah. Anyway, so what happened? What was that story I was going to tell you now? Oh yes, yeah. I am full of stories. So one time when I was still pretty much a baby nun at that time, but. Oh, yeah, I was working at another Dharma center, and the monks there, they treated me awfully. And I got so angry, because they were really macho. And I was persecuted. And so I went to do retreat after that. I was in Europe when they were making fun of me. I went to back to India. I was doing retreat, sitting there in my little hut, doing retreat, so peaceful, and thinking, you know, my teacher was at the same center, and I thought, he sees me sitting here, yeah, because my teacher obviously has psychic powers and knows what I'm doing. Yeah. And I'm foremost in his thought. Yeah. He has thousands of disciples, but you know, he thinks. So he's looking and he's saying, "Oh, look at her. She's such a perfect, you know, really dedicated, sincere practitioner." And I thought, that's what, you know, he's looking at me now, and that's what he's thinking. And then, as soon as I thought that thought, I burst out laughing. Yeah, in my quiet kuti, you know. I burst out laughing because it was hilarious. Yeah? I think that, yeah, that's what he's thinking about me. And when I'm sitting there feeling so arrogant because I'm such a good disciple and my teacher's going to see me as a good disciple, yeah, my teacher's going to go, "Oh, I'm so glad she's my disciple." Then, I mean, what a hilarious idea. So I just cracked up laughing in the middle of my meditation session. Yeah. So we have to learn to laugh at ourselves and the stupid adagios, the way our mind thinks sometimes. Yeah. Okay, it's their lunchtime.
Can we get 3 big sadhus for Venerable Thubten Chodron? Sadhu, sadhu,
Oh, now thank you. Oh, I got 3. I want 3 more
sadhu, 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 sadhu,
Yeah,
sadhu.
no, you
sadhu,
don't
sadhu.
really mean it. You're just saying it.